Sigma males are inherently quite rare, especially in the modern world where so many men are weak, ignored, and otherwise defeated. But it's not the sheer rareness of the Sigma male that makes him so incredibly good at seducing the ladies. Instead, it is the Sigma male's game that sets him apart from other men. And even if you are not sure if you fit the Sigma archetype 100%, there's still so much that can be learned from the type of game that a Sigma male deploys and by the way that he handles women in general. So with that said, let's get right into it. Number one, many men in today's world live with a scarcity mindset, which simply means that once they think that they have something, they become absolutely terrified of the fear of losing that thing. Now, something that commonly happens to millionaires is that when they are poor, they feel as if they have nothing to lose, so they actually act from a mindset of abundance, and they take the risks that they need to become wealthy. But then once they actually make $1 million, something really curious happens. And what happens is that they become so scared to lose the money that they've made that they never actually make any more money. Same thing happens with most guys in the case of girls. So when they get a girlfriend, or even when they simply get a girl liking them or get attention from a girl, they go from a mindset of abundance to one of scarcity, and then they become so afraid to lose that little bit of attraction or that little bit of attention that they've gotten from the girl that they ultimately end up screwing up the whole entire thing because they enter a mindset of scarcity. Now, one of the most powerful aspects of Sigma male game is simply not being afraid to walk away. You see, so many guys in the modern world are absolutely terrified to walk away, whether it's from a girl, from a job they hate, or from a bunch of crab in the barrel friends who hold them back. But Sigmas are different because they just don't have this problem. You see, a Sigma's ability to walk away reveals itself in very subtle ways when he is interacting with girls. And sometimes it's something subtle like walking away from a conversation when a girl insults him or starts acting childish or starts saying stupid things. Other times it's walking away from a girl temporarily to get the space that he needs to focus on achieving his goals or fulfilling his purpose. Now, one of the greatest displays of Sigma male game, in my opinion, is telling a girl that he will leave her if she does X, Y, or Z, but then actually following through with it. You see, far too often, men are too weak to walk away for various reasons, and so even though they say they're going to walk away, walking away doesn't always have to represent something literal, like actually walking out the door and leaving. Most of the time, it really just means pulling back your presence or your attention or whatever it is that you are giving a girl that you feel that she is no longer deserving of. Number two, one of the most powerful aspects of Sigma male game by far is the natural mysteriousness that comes from merely existing as a Sigma. You see, something that you have to understand about females is that they always want to quickly decode a man and put him into a certain category right after they meet him. And guys don't typically do this because for the most part, we judge girls based on their physical beauty rather than their character. So for guys, there's really no decoding a girl. It's either is she hot or is she not. But for women, the process of decoding a man or the process of finding out who he really is almost like an exciting game. And the less that a girl can figure you out, the more intrigued that she becomes. You see, Sigmas naturally have a good hand to play in this respect because the very nature of their existence lends itself to mystery. I mean, why else would he be called the lone wolf? Whenever an average guy meets a girl, or the type of guy that's neither an alpha nor a Sigma, whenever this type of man meets a girl, his natural inclination is to try to impress her or to try to seek approval from her. Because as long as she has even an average to slightly above average looks, she might as well have a long, glorious white beard and be wielding bolts of lightning in the eyes of the average man. But the point here is that Sigma males naturally don't seek approval from anyone, girls included, and they're also naturally very reluctant to share anything about themselves to other people, whereas the average guy will spill the beans and reveal everything about himself at the first chance that he gets. Always remember that the less a girl can figure you out, or the less that you say to her, or the less that you tell her about yourself, the more curious and the more intrigued she will become. And since Sigma males behave this way naturally, they tend to come off as extremely mysterious, and this is obviously a good thing. Now, when combined with their other traits, such as confidence, masculinity, and dominance, the mystery of a Sigma male tends to be too much for girls to handle, so they completely lose control of themselves, and like a good puzzle, they have to find out more, which is why they become so incredibly interested. Number three, something that you won't find a Sigma male doing almost ever is committing. And I'm not talking about committing a crime. I'm talking about committing to a woman. What you guys have to understand about every woman out there is that from a biological perspective, women are hardwired to get men to commit, because if they can't get a man to commit, they run the very serious risk of bearing children and having to raise those children alone. You see, men, on the other hand, are naturally non-committal, because if we could have it our way, like Burger King, we would prefer to have many different women in our lives. And for most guys, especially younger ones, this is actually the primary goal. So what you guys need to understand is that a woman's greatest fantasy, as shown by the billions upon billions of dollars that are spent every single year on romance novels, is that a girl's greatest fantasy is to find a strong, wild man and then tame him. And it just so happens that Sigma males are precisely the type of man who girls seek to tame. So it's no wonder why girls find them so attractive. You see, all the players in high school were the same way. Girls, no matter how hard they try, can never seem to get these types of guys to commit, whether it's in a relationship, taking their advice, or even wearing their clothes a certain way. And paradoxically, the less likely that you are to agree to be her boyfriend or to commit to her in some way, the more attractive she will find you. Number 4. Now, the fourth greatest aspect of a Sigma male's game revolves around not being easily impressed. You see, men today in the modern world are so easily impressed, and social media is mostly to blame for this, because everywhere that you look, there's an attractive female posing in some provocative way. Something you guys probably didn't realize is that I actually don't like putting attractive girls in the thumbnails of my videos, but it's funny because without fail, every single time that I do this, you guys always click on them far more often than the videos that I don't put them in. So the point here is that, just in case you guys didn't know, humans are running one giant experiment with social media, and if you are on social media on a regular basis, you are a part of this experiment. And so what's actually happening is that social media is making guys so incredibly thirsty that they are being trained to think a certain way whenever they see a girl. And if that certain thing is all you're ever thinking about when you see a girl, of course you're going to be easily impressed by her. You see, Sigma males are, by their very nature, difficult to impress. And when you're difficult to impress, it makes your attention and your praise actually worth something to other people. But more importantly, what it does is it causes girls to feel like they have to prove themselves to you, and it makes them feel like they have to earn your attention. See, girls are always walking by a group of guys wearing tight clothes and then turning to look back and see which guys in the group are staring at them, not just because they love the attention, but because they need to know which guys to ignore. Now, even if you don't resonate with the Sigma male, at least walk away with this fantastic piece of game and become the type of man who is not easily impressed by beauty or by superficial things. Number 5. Now, what you have to understand is that Sigma males, like alpha males, naturally have a dominant nature, except this dominance is projected or expressed in different ways. You see, stereotypical alpha males usually project dominance directly by subtly or overtly displaying their rank above other males, kind of like how a gorilla would pound his chest when other males challenge his position or his rank as the alpha male. Now, Sigma males, on the other hand, are different, because the Sigma can project dominance by the sheer act of making it painfully clear that he cannot and will not allow himself to be dominated by other males. See, dominance is an essential part of game for every Sigma male and for every man in general, but it's just as useful for those of you who don't necessarily call yourself a Sigma. You see, girls will never overtly say it, but every girl actually gets extremely excited to see a man dominate another man, even if it's just in subtle ways, such as being a manager of a store and politely telling other men at that store what to do. So whether you call yourself a Sigma male or not, dominance should always be a key part of your game when it comes to women. And with that said, this has been 5 rules of Sigma male game, and until next time, thank you guys so much for watching.